What's up, dedicated Dragon Ball denizens? I'm Brian, and we're here for another episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. This time, we are going to get into our Gogeta deck list, which is the first black list I'm doing for the new adventure set. I was going to say new set, but at this point, I mean, we're a month in. We're already starting to get reveals for the starter deck, which I'm very excited about, the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. But anyway, we're going to go over the strengths, weaknesses, and strategy of playing the deck. We'll first go over each card in the deck and why it's there, and then we'll get into a couple of the other cards I would consider swapping in or out. But anyway, let's get into it. And as always, for my longtime viewers, the deck list is over there on the left hand side, but we'll go through each of the deck first, each card in the deck, starting with the leader. So first off, we have Gogeta, Saiyan Another World. So he's a basic leader, as many are. Prior to awakening, when attacking, he's going to draw a card, and then he awakens at 4. The one thing that a lot of us, including myself, are unsure about is why the heck he does not draw upon flip. He's not like that OP of a leader to not be able to draw. I think honestly it holds him back. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a big thing, and I think that he should have drew upon awakening. But anyway, let's flip him over. I was lucky enough to pull the alt art of this card online, so looking real nice, right? Alright, so upon awakening, when attacking, draw a card. And here is his special ability, activate main once per turn. It does cost 1 charge. If you don't have an energy marker, you place an energy marker. So at first glance, when I first saw him, I was like, it's not that great of a move. But it actually gives this card, his deck, this leader, a lot of flexibility and lets you do a lot of things in one turn. Whereas before, you may have been limited to something like playing a good card that uses an energy marker, and then you don't have one for another card. So it gives you a little bit of flexibility in terms of letting you just kind of do what you need to do. Like, is it a card that its effect happens when you use an energy marker, or is it a card that happens when you have an energy marker there? And it can let you really mess around with a lot of things as we play here, and sometimes really help you actually like just play extra cards in a turn, as I've noticed, despite the 1-for-1 type of deal. So let's get into some of the other cards. We'll start with the lower ones, right? Para Bros. You know, it's just such a great card in here, especially as we're adding energy markers really easily. I think this card goes in probably even more than any other deck in black. It just really fits because once you're awakened, you're guaranteed to get an energy marker that turn. So a lot of times you may be attacking, and at the end of the turn you go ahead and just play a Para Bros and stun whatever either the last card on their board is, or whatever their biggest threat to you on your next turn is, right? So we've got 4 of them. If basically if you remove an energy marker, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, it can attack for this turn. Really good. And then plus it's a 10k combo, right? So let me tell you, let's go into the next one, which is a great combo for this card, is the Hercule GT. So this one, if you have an energy marker, add up to 1 on Hercule with a cost of 1 or less from your drop to hand. So a lot of times what I'm going to find myself doing is, if I know I can just play a Hercule GT next turn and I have enough energy to also play a Para, it makes it a lot easier for you to just go ahead and combo away the Para in order to defend it, and then play the Hercule next turn with an energy marker, grab the Para back, use the energy marker after that, stun. So it really can make this deck kind of a really defensive deck. And then at the same time, the Hercule GT is at 10k. You aren't going to want to combo your Hercule GTs unless it's gonna cost you the match or something like that, because this one you can't get them back, and this is our only card that's going to help us get anything back from drop. So we're gonna go 4 of them. Next up, just our basic cantrip is our last 1 cost. I went with the South Kai. I mean, in this case, there isn't anything that's searchers in this deck, so if you can play whatever the heck cantrip you want, to be quite honest. I'm debating, maybe I'll swap him out for Goku, the Kid Goku or something, just to throw him in there. But it doesn't matter, you can play what you want. Okay, next up, I've got the Trunks GT. Let's actually get the alt art version. So I'm playing 4 of these. It's another good card, and And really, I find myself more on this one early because we are a lot of times going to be using that energy marker during the turn. But I think what's nice about the Trunks GT is, number one, your opponent just targets him. Like, he's a target, and it can sometimes take attention away from other more powerful cards just because they want to get him out of there so that they can go ahead and, you know, be able to KO any card they want if you have an energy marker, right? So if you don't know on this one, if you have an energy marker, your non-Trunks GT can't be removed from the battle area by your opponent's skills. So KOs, bottom decking, return to hand, all of that good stuff. He protects those cards, so really good. And then he's also a self-awakener, which is great on that end. So I play 4 of the Trunks GT in there. I think he's a great card in any ideal match. My turn 1 is playing a cantrip. My turn 2 is playing a Trunks GT. And then my turn 3, I mean, nothing special here, is going to be playing this Goku GT of this one. Another just staple of black. I think if you're playing any black deck, you should have 4 of these bad boys in there. Add up to 1 card from your life to hand. If you don't have an energy marker, place an energy marker. That's what's really nice about the turn 2 and 3. If you can get the Trunks and then the Goku GT out there, whether or not you went second, or not, your turn 3, you're going to have an energy marker if you play him, and you're also able to awaken twice, so it kind of helps you out. You know, depending on the matchup that you're in, you may or may not even awaken on this turn, you know, depending on how quickly and how aggressive your opponent is. But if they are being really aggressive and awakening themselves, usually if you can get these 2 plays off, then you can probably be awakened yourself because you're not attacking with Trunks. So that means your opponent, in order to draw a card, is forced to attack. Unless they're playing a crit leader, which they probably attack anyway, and then, you know, you're going to have to decide if it's worth you defending or putting the card in drop. So we can potentially awaken on turn 3 a lot of times is what I'm finding, and usually you want to give you that flexibility of playing the energy markers and of course just getting the extra 5k power, right? So 4 of these guys too. Alright, next up is where the list gets a little bit different compared to some of the others. Now this one, I'm going with 2 of these Gotenks. I really would like 3 of them, but I really like this card. He is a 3-cost 20k attacker, 5k combo. The 5k combo is what stops me from putting that 3rd one or even a 4th one in there. And what I love this one, if you removed an energy marker, use this card, choose up to 2 battle cards with 2 or less in your opponent's battle area and KO them. I love this one for blue decks, for red decks, for those ones that just like to have things hanging out. Honestly, I mean, even yellow, right? Yellow is going to have, they want to throw a lot of either cantrips out there with Boo, or you know, just really low cost or Bulmas just to hang out and get abilities. For blue, I love knocking out 2 Videls if I can, and then for red, I'm able to knock out 2 Whis or something like that. Green, probably not as useful in green, but that's why I kind of like 3. I mean, it really works for any color. Just because he sees a little less play, your opponent is kind of often surprised when he comes out there. And he's an attacker. I mean, he's 20k. He can go ahead and attack and do some damage to the leader. Sometimes I'll combo some cards to get him up in order to attack those 25k leaders. But I think this is a really good card. It's so easy to remove your energy marker, and then if you need to, just go ahead and put it back if you're awakened. So it's a really good card. Again, like I said, I have 2 of them. I'm considering throwing in 3, but I do like the combo power. Now, Veku is another one that I'm not sure. You know, to be honest with you, chat. I haven't used him a ton. He's a lot of times combo fodder that I'm going to use, but he's got some good qualities about him. He's a blocker, a 20k blocker, mind you, for 3k. He's got 10k combo. And the great thing about that, end of your turn, if you have an energy marker, switch this card in a battle area to active mode. Alright, so you can attack with him. You can go ahead and attack. You can hit for 20k, and then it doesn't mean that you lose his blocker status as long as you end your turn with an energy marker. So if you're going really like Trunks focused, and let's say maybe you don't even find your Goku GT, you can throw this bad boy out there, attack, and he'll go back to active mode if you need some defense on your next turn. So I think this is a good card. I'm playing 3 of them in this deck. Now the other one that I really love is this Vegeta. right? Super good card in my opinion. He has the 10k combo, which is why I increased to 4. You know, it's kind of debatable if you maybe want to swap one out and lose 5k power to get yourself another of the Gotenks. But he's a little bit different of the Gotenks, right? On play, if you have an energy marker. So this one, you want to keep the energy marker. And if you do, you choose a card of 3 or less and KO it. So any 3 cost or less and KO. So that's going to help you with a lot of other cards, like maybe Gohan. I use it a lot of times when I'm facing red to get rid of those pesky Gohans that are going to minus 15k from every battle. So it's really good. I mean, it can take out other 3 costs if you're playing black, like Goku GT. Maybe we're playing against, I'm trying to think about other colors, and I'm drawing a blank right now. But there's a lot. I use this card a lot in there. He's nice for board control. All right, moving on to our, this guy, Son Goku GT, the secret rare. Honestly, on this one, if I could get 4, I would be playing 4. I don't have 4. So I would have to make some decisions in that, of like maybe losing some combo power in order to play. But to be honest, I don't know. I mean, this deck does just fine with only the 2, considering that we also have our Goku out there. It does kind of suck when we can't find him. You know, I at least do want to play 1. Oftentimes, if I've got the option even on turn 5 to play Goku GT, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Not GT, sorry, the Super Saiyan 3/5 cost. I'm often going to go with this one first because of the continuous draw power. Obviously, the Goku Super Saiyan 3 lets us draw 2. But, you know, I really like this in the ability to grab that energy marker back per turn, which can really lead to us even doing some cool things of double energy marker uses in a turn, whereas you're going to throw him, attack, maybe I'm going to throw out a Para Brothers, just get it over with, and then I can throw out another Para Bros by using my leader ability to get another energy marker. So this one's good. Like I said, I think at the very least, maybe I would throw in 3. You know, debatable on what I want to remove to do that. Next up, we have our Glorio Daima. This one's another one that's I'm only playing 2 because I don't need him a ton. Like, I would much rather play oftentimes. I would oftentimes much rather play my Trunks GT. Sometimes if I'm playing, like, for example, against an Androids deck or somewhere where I really want to pressure early, that's one of the few times I may choose him over my Trunks. Or obviously on turn 3, if I've got my energy marker already and I don't have my Goku GT, I'll play him. But, you know, a nice card. At the very least, he's got his 10k combo. And then obviously if your opponent has an energy marker, you can draw. So, you know, always a good thing to do. Just a solid card. Debatable if you want to grab more in this deck, you know, maybe thinking about removing Trash Talk or something like that, but up to you on there. I think the 2 Glorios are just fine. Oh, and you know, I need to back up. I skipped this guy over here, the Bardock. Another one that you probably will see a little bit less in the Gogeta list, but, you know, kind of a good niche card that I find myself oftentimes is going to close out games for me. Because of what we're seeing with Gogeta and his ability to kind of manipulate energy markers, you're kind of staying ahead of the game in terms of just the amount of cards you're able to play. So you're already able to play sometimes maybe 1 more card, especially because we've got a bunch of solid like 3-cost attackers in this deck. So if you can get yourself up to the point where you can play extra cards, then Bardock is not only an extra card to play for a 3-cost, but an extra attack that draws you 1. I'm only playing 2 in this deck because, like I said, he's a little bit more niche, but he comes in so clutch for finishing games for me a lot, and I'm hoping in our demo that we're able to see that in action. But just a good card as well. So you're going to see that there's a lot of 3-costs. I've got 16 3-costs in deck. You could just no, you can't see it in this right now, but that's okay. All right, moving on. We've only got a few cards left. Is our Goku, right? This one I'm going to play four of them. You know, why not? He's got 500. I mean 5k combo, not 500. And he's just so good as a double attacker. A lot of times you do have to be careful because if I'm discarding a card after the turn I'm playing him, then sometimes it can be bad if my opponent survives because I'm reducing my hand size. Whereas if they've got a big enough board and you can't take it out, it could sometimes lead to death for you. But anyway, on play, if you removed an energy marker to use this card, draw 2 cards. Super good there. And obviously, it's really easy to get your energy marker with Gogeta's ability basically for free. And then you just play your Goku. And then, of course, activate main once per turn, discard a card, switch this card to active mode. So he's a 30k hitter that can hit twice in a turn. I mean, in essence, you're still net 1 card in hand the turn you play him. From there, you're going to have to make some decisions, like do I want to or don't. That's why it actually does really come in clutch to have a Goku Super Saiyan 4 GT out there, because then you know that you're gaining a card and you can use it to let him attack a second time. So really nice. I mean, this is just great. I mean, the Goku, this guy and the Goku GT really just overwhelm my opponents a lot of times. It costs so much for them to get rid of them. They're 4 and 5 costs, so it's not easy to do with simple removals. And if they do, it's going to cost them a lot. Like a lot of times my opponent might use a final explosion to get rid of them, but then I'm just going to play this Goku GT next turn or another one, and they weren't able to play battle cards to put pressure on me. So that's what's really nice about this. All right, and then lastly, I've got my nice Bulla GT super combos, one of the coolest super combos in my opinion. I can't wait to get the physical versions of these cards on that. So next up, I've got a few extras in here. The 10x Kamehameha, just a really good card in there. I'm only playing 2. I'm playing 2 each of all of the extras in this deck. So this one comes in handy. The other cool thing about it is Hercule is able to snag it back for you. So sometimes I'll do a play of, and I'll waste 3, sure, but sometimes you can go crazy on this and like play I've actually played it like for 1 cost. I don't remove the energy marker, and I can get a 2 or less, and then I'll Hercule, grab it back, remove the energy marker, and do 3 more if their board's getting a little bit crazy. But I mean, the 10x Kamehameha is nice. Hercule can grab it back. Just a good way of helping you clear out boards, especially those low cost boards. All right, now this one's one that's like I like it. This one's probably one like if I were to get more Goku GTs, this one may be the one to consider. But it does come in pretty clutch for me as well, because it is a draw card. And then as long as you keep your energy marker, you can stun a 4 or more cost card. So really helps out against some of these bigger 4 cost cards, or even lower, just to kind of get you going and kind of help you to kind of recover, get more in hand. So it's one that I'll do a lot of, and I do see a lot of play with it. So it's not a useless card in my opinion. Now, the other one is the Soul Punisher. I love this card, and even though sometimes it's like, oh man, your opponent wastes a lot to get it, but I mean, when I'm able to KO 2 battle cards, period, by removing an energy marker, that is so good. Initially, I actually wanted to play with 4 of these in deck. I just think it's such a great card for board removal, especially with the kind of deck I'm playing here, because a lot of my attackers are only 25k hitters, right? Especially not even 25-20, right? I mean, a lot of my Gotenks and my Vegetas, it's not until we get up to these 4 and 5 costs that, you know, we're really up there. And really, I mean, the Goku GT, Super Saiyan 4, and both of them, they're only 30k attackers, so it can get us into a pickle when our opponent's throwing down more than 30ks, especially against like a Broly with green. This card's clutch against green, or any others that are getting those double strikes out there, especially like maybe now we're seeing even these Goku double strikers that are 45. So just to be able to KO 2 period, I think is worth that 4 cost. And then, we can build our boards back up pretty quickly. Being able to draw with our Goku GTs or our Goku's periods just really helps us recover a little. So I think it's a little bit more worth it than maybe other decks to use it, even though it's a 4 cost. Now, these strategy strengths and weaknesses of this deck. Strategy, it's really like a mid-range pressure deck is that really relies a lot on like 3 costs and then later games throwing out our Gokus and our Goku GTs, Super Saiyan 4 secret rares out there. Use that energy marker to your advantage. Really like the early to mid game is like all about like board control. Just keep your opponent's board as clear as possible. Really try to like build up your hand and get their hand down to where once we're throwing out our Gokus on our 5 charge and plus, we're able to just really like do some damage to the point where they cannot defend. You know, a lot of times, as much as possible, I'm trying to just attack a life and use my other 3 cost cards to just keep that board removal down, especially early, getting rid of those 3. If you're playing against people who are playing a lot of 3 cost and below, board control is not too difficult to gain. And pressure, you know, it's mid-range. We don't want to awaken our opponent too quickly, depending on and ourselves. So kind of work on like what do you have in hand and go from there. The strengths of this deck, it's very, very flexible. From what I see, we've got enough for board removals, we've got enough to defend, and we've got enough to awaken early too. So we can kind of look at like what's my opponent doing here? What matchup am I facing? Is it one that wants to awaken early? Okay, let's try to push back their awakening. Oh, well, they're self-awakening. Okay, well, I can self-awaken too. So put yourself in position to really think about like what are they going to do, and think about like what am I going to charge because of that? What am I going to keep in hand? And what am I going to play? You know, we've got all kinds of good stuff of stunning, board removals, and good things like that, right? We can fill our board really fast too. If our opponent wants to focus on our life, we have enough combo power in hand to where we don't have to use too many cards defending oftentimes, and then we can keep our board. If they want to take out our board, not too bad to defend. We'll make a decision, and a lot of times, especially with our 20k 3 costs like Vegeta and Gotenks, like they've done their job, right? They've done their job just by playing and removing a card, so we don't need to focus too much on defending them. They're only 3 costs, okay? And then we can provide big pressure with our Gokus. We've got 30k bodies out there that are just going to keep coming. You know, we do only have 2 of the GTs, but we've got 4 of these, and we're going to be drawing them. We've got enough draw power out here to do so, right? Weaknesses, though, it is like a master of none, right? This deck, I really, and a lot of the decks I really like to make where I do my best to make a not bad matchup, right? To where I don't have any auto losses. But it means I'm not going to, a lot of times, like, annihilate anything. You know, there are some matchups that I feel I do better against. Like, I think red is a solid matchup for this deck. But again, it's really a master of none. It also doesn't have, like, any big-time attackers. I don't play double strikes. I mean, the Goku here is going to be able to attack twice. But you need to be careful with that because you can get caught, you know, just discarding too many from hand if we're not careful. There's also energy marker needs, so sometimes because I do have a lot of kind of different cards in here, sometimes we can't quite play what we need, having enough energy. Like Gogeta's ability is nice to be able to put an energy marker, but also know that it costs 1 charge to do that. So sometimes we can get to the point where we're maybe 1 charge short of just being able to do everything that we need in a turn. Finally, let's go through some other cards to consider in this deck. The one biggest card that probably people may question the most why it's not there is the Giru, right? Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 1 or less and KO it. Solid card. I mean, it does help you get rid of a lot of the other ones that I talked about for less, but I think, in my opinion, I've got my Trunks, I mean Gotenks, and I've got my Vegeta, and yeah, maybe a one cost for 1 is better, but I think I'd rather just play out the Gotenks, so I can have an attacker, and I can get up to 2 of them. So I think it's a little bit more efficient to play the Gotenks and have an attacker so that I'm able to also pressure. I know you can get the Giru back as well with Hercule, but that's okay. I'm fine with it. Alright, next up is Pan. Pan is a self-awakener. It's got a solid effect on it. Pan being it is a 20k attacker for 2 costs. When attacking, you can use 1 to draw a card, and then return a 4 or more battle card to your opponent's hand. It's solid, especially considering all of the stuff we can do with energy markers here, but just don't see it fitting here. It's not quite my style. I'm also not a huge fan of return to hand. The 4 or less is nice, but I'm going to leave Pan out in this case. Another card I see a lot of in Gogeta decks, and really just black in general now, is the Grade 8 Baby. For one, I don't play a ton of 2-cost cards here, right? 2 or less. You know, we've only got the Trunks GT, which obviously would be a great play with the Grade 8 Baby, but then from there I've only got Cantrip, so if I don't have him in play, you know, I'd probably much rather play a Glorio, a couple Glorios if I can, or I'd rather play one of my 3 costs and still have an energy left over for a Para. Also, he doesn't have any combo power. I like that this deck is, if you notice, is really balanced in terms of combo power. The only 0 combos I have are my Goku GT Super Saiyan 4. So I like having the options of combo power. Yeah, we can, you know, place one of their 3 or less into the combo area, so that's good. But again, like I said, I just don't feel like it quite fits and does what I'm trying to do here. The other one to think about, maybe even swap other than the Trash Talk, would be the Ultimate Sparking. I mean, it's a really good card, a really good defensive card. You know, giving us 20k in battle on our opponent's turn, and then we can stun another card. But I feel like, you know, I've got stuns with Paras, I've got removals. I'd rather take the draw and stun on my turn and plan it out, you know, despite not getting the 20k extra. So, you know, it's kind of a preference on there, to be honest. Do you want to kind of use the Pycon Trash Talk on your turn, or do you want to, you know, give some more defense and maybe surprise your opponent with an Ultimate Sparking? All right, and then finally is the Pycon. This one, you know, it definitely, in my opinion, still needs a little bit more support. Maybe if we did play this card, it could be worth the Grade 8 Baby, so that you can throw him out too. Obviously, as a Self-Awakener. Another card, though, that has 0 combo. But the when attacking, if you have an energy marker, look at 2 cards from your deck and get another world, put it in hand. Now, this one, I still think it's a little bit underrated overall, because obviously the super combos that you can play, I didn't play in this deck because I'm not playing him. They have the Kai. I don't know if it's North Kai or, I don't know, one of the Kais, right? You could get, and it's another world. But other than that, I'm only playing a Cantrip of another world. We can potentially get the Gokus and my Vegetas and Vekus, but I don't quite have enough another worlds to really make this worth it. And again, for a 2 cost, I'm usually wanting to throw Trunks out there or just use it on other things. But this one is one to consider. I think I'm interested in like what we're getting next set, as many others are with the Pycon card, and see if it gets a little bit more support so that we can maybe get a kind of full-on another world deck, and then maybe we'll start throwing this bad boy in there. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of the Hawks Dragon Ball Nest. Hope you enjoyed this deck. Let me know in the comments what you think, what other cards you may swap in or out that I didn't get. If you think it's a competitive enough deck, I have had a lot of fun with it. It's a pretty solid deck, in my opinion. It's a real good, like, mid-rangey deck in all of that good stuff. So hopefully you all think the same as well. Now, if you liked what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can become part of the Hawks Nest. We are a fabulous flock of fearless folks who love to do what they love. I love making decks. I'm so excited to be able to do this week in and week out with you all. But if you're not quite ready to fly yet, no worries. Just hit that like button. We'll show up in an algorithm near you in the near future. But until then, see you next time.